What's up, everybody? Welcome to System Covers Live. I'm David Wilson, and we're back again with another Friday stream where we get together as a community and talk about whatever topic I've come up with for the week. And here we are. Let's see how the stream goes today. I've tweaked quite a lot of settings over the last few days. I was basically trying to, I was working on a new video. I'm trying to do things a little bit different and make the overall quality better. And yeah, I messed with a lot of stuff and I could have broken everything, but so far it seems to be okay. How's the webcam or the video thing looking? I think this is probably the best it's looked so far, if I'm not mistaken. It's not so washed out. It might actually be a lot smoother. I'm finally using hardware video encoding correctly on OBS streams, so I'm pretty happy about that. I think it's a lot better. He re-dyed his hat. No, this is the actual color, more or less. The problem before was that the video was way too washed out. It was, I don't know, like I had set a bunch of settings and I hadn't changed them for a very long time. And also the camera, I had set settings on this camera probably in, what year was that? 2016, 2017? Yes, I've had this camera that long for recording video and I hadn't changed them since. So I actually went back and revamped everything and I think the result is much better. I don't know what happened, but the camera quality is super smooth. So really happy. Oh, hey, I see Case over in the YouTube chat. So let me stop being narcissistic for a moment and actually say hello to the people who are here so far. Hello to Bill, Case, Raul, Rule, Gregory. Let's see, on the IRC side, I see Summer, Kaiser, Glenn, Alejandro, Gunn, Arnaud, Michael, Peter, Osloy. Let's see, Minas Mezar, Rob. I know that Benoit was around, but I'm not sure. Yes, the head is bigger. I increased the size of my head so you can see my imperfections in glorious detail. If it's too big, I'll scroll it down, but I'm trying stuff. I'm just trying to see what's going on here. Summer says, looks good. Is that an iPhone camera now? You know that's not the answer to the question. This is not the answer to the question. And yes, unfortunately this week, it turned out that I got COVID. But as you can see, I'm not dying. I'm not laid up in a bed, so apparently it's not that bad. I'm okay. So whatever this is, it's going around. It's super contagious, but also it's pretty weak. Thankfully. Let's see. Gun says 4K. It's not 4K though, is it? It's just smoother. Oh, you see me? I was here looking at encoding settings. Case came over to IRC. That's better. Hey, Dave. ACW says social distance. Yes. I'm sorry. All of you have COVID now. I'm very sorry. I don't think you can get COVID through a live stream. But, you know, maybe today we'll discover something new about the world and about viruses. Sorry, Case. I know. You know, you'll thank me whenever you get to take some time off from work. Summer says, I feel like we're in a homeroom and he's taking attendance. I am actually taking attendance. You can't see it, but I have this little notepad right here where I'm writing down all of your names. And if I don't see you one week, I'm giving you 5 demerits. And the next time you come back, you're going to be put in the corner, as it were. Michael says, damn, strep COVID and a reaction to antibacterials. Yes, and then also a weird case of arthritis. You know what? I'm coming out the other end stronger. What can I say? I'm turning into a superhero. Not really. I mean, like, what? I just sit in front of a computer all day, so probably the creeping effects of being a desk-bound person is gonna catch up with me at some point. Kay says, I don't have any sick time. Well, you know, you should just make some sick time by going into the office and coughing a lot. Maybe you work from home though, so you can't really do that. So the best way is just go into the office and start coughing all over the place, and then they'll just tell you to go home. So that's my solution to not having sick time. All right, over on the YouTube side, I'm getting some good comments on the video. Thank you, I appreciate that. Hey, Menacing Mecha. And hello to Trip. Trip says, did you go to private school? Me? No way. I'm a poor boy from the southeast United States. I did not go to private school. Hey, Jerry, nice to see you. Jerry says, I'm in the corner forever. I haven't been here in a while. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while, dude. Glad to see you, though. Hello, Dushal. Hello to Rahul over in Twitch. Hey, Fikri. Fikri says, I've consumed a lot of TikTok. I thought you were saying Sigma. No, I wouldn't be saying Sigma. I don't actually know what I said that sounded like Sigma. Hey says, oh dang, Arthur-itis. He's the worst of those itis bros. Yeah, you know. Those rich itis brothers, and Arthur is the worst. All right, Six Sigma. Yeah, we're gonna turn into an industrial process channel here. System Crafters Now is about industrial business process, and we're gonna be studying Six Sigma today. So get ready. Gun says muscle degradation, pot belly, malnutrition, and Red Bull addiction. Don't make me hurt, okay? You're describing my life perfectly. No, it's not Red Bull today, at least. It's like a cold cappuccino. So at least I'm pulling back from the precipice of completely destroying my internal organs from drinking Red Bull. All right, enough screwing around. So the news for today, I don't really have much news. If anybody remembers anything interesting going on this week, please feel free to chime in. But the main thing is that I want to remind you about the call for participation for Emacs Conf 2024, which came out a week or two ago. The conference will be on December 7th and 8th of this year. It's a really good time. A lot of fun things going on at that virtual conference. Actually, I've already got the page open. They are asking for proposals for people who want to give talks. Usually the talks are not very long, 5 to 10 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever you would like to do. So give it a look. Give it your consideration for maybe doing a talk about Emacs at the conference in case you are interested in doing such things. I might try to do it this year. We'll see. I haven't really thought too much about it, but maybe it's time to do it again. I haven't talked there since 2021, I think. Glenna says, I already have the black belt. I believe that, actually. Knowing the work that you do, you may have a Six Sigma black belt. Kay says, I'm waiting for the 7th Sigma to drop, and I'm starting to program in CL. I don't think that you're going to be the harbinger of the 7th Sigma by programming in Common Lisp. Also, I'm very sad to hear that you decided to start programming Common Lisp, but maybe there's a reason. You should tell me what the reason is. Kay says there's another Lisp game jam coming up at some point, probably in... Dave, when is the next Lisp game jam? Probably like September, October. Osloy says, any material you find particularly helpful? I'll answer on behalf of Case here. Probably Practical Common Lisp. That's the book that I read back in 2006, probably. Okay, so can't think of anything else that's going on in the world. Anything interesting? I mean, I don't really pay attention to the outer world news. I'm just thinking about Emacs all day long, so I don't really know what's going on in the world. Dave says probably October, November, nothing scheduled yet. Yeah, that sounds about the right time frame. I'll definitely be participating in that whenever it happens. Okay, so today, let's hack on some Orgmote files. So this week I made a post on the socials, on the x.com website, which I haven't really posted on in a long time, and also on the Fediverse, asking Emacs users how much, asking Emacs users excellent command of the English language. Asking how much their life would be improved by understanding how to write Emacs Lisp code at an intermediate level. A lot of people responded to that. It generated quite a lot of discussion. I'm pretty happy to see that people are passionate about the topic. But a few of the people mentioned that they want to be able to do things with Orgmote files using Emacs Lisp. And that's a pretty interesting topic because that's one of the more practical things you could do with Emacs Lisp that actually wouldn't be very hard, I think. But we're going to find out today whether that's the truth. I've done a little bit of programming against Orgmode using the APIs for Orgmode. They're not very well documented, I think. I don't think there's really like a manual for how to use the Orgmode APIs to manipulate files, unless somebody knows about it and can put it in the chat. But it is possible to write Emacs Lisp code that can do all sorts of things with Orgmode files. And I figured we could just, experiment a little bit and see what we can learn about that today. Let me see what's going on in the chat here. Okay. All right. So I've got a few tasks in mind that we can try to do with Emacs Lisp for Orgmode, but I'm certainly interested to hear what else you have in mind because, I can't think of everything, obviously. You have to do a little bit of the work here too. Come on, people. Let's help me out. Let me be lazy. And I'm not really being lazy. I thought about this a little bit, maybe 5 minutes. Hey, Judy. So first of all, looping over all to-do items in a file. That's sort of like the foundation of doing anything with Orgmode files is, you've got a file full of to-do items. You want to loop over those to-do items to process them somehow, to read the information from the to-do items or to move them around, move them to another file, et cetera, et cetera. But first of all, we're just going to try to loop over them and see what kind of information we can gather from those items. And then we can sort of decide what we want to do after that. Kay says, isn't there like org map or something? Thank you for reminding me about that because I actually forgot. We'll look at that too. Sorting all to-do items under a heading based on their task state. I actually do have some code for this already because one thing that I like to do was have a heading with tasks under it, and then any of the tasks that I've marked as done, I wanted to automatically resort the tasks under that heading so that the done tasks are at the bottom and all the uncompleted tasks are at the top. So you're basically sorting the tasks. We'll probably be able to extract the code that I have from my dot files. Refiling all done tasks to another file. So, you can just have a command that you run with a key binding that takes all of the done tasks in the current file and then archives them somewhere. There's some existing logic built into Orgmode for that. I don't really think there is, but we can try to write some code to do that because I think it's pretty easy if you just use org refile. If you programmatically invoke org refile, let's say. Scraping org agenda items to extract details about them. It's actually kind of interesting. I've got an idea for taking the listing of items that have times attached to them in your org agenda, like that calendar view, and extracting information about certain items because I have kind of a workflow in mind that I want to do that I'll talk about maybe in a later video. And that's something that we'll experiment with a little bit. I've actually got some code here. I'm sorry, last night I didn't sleep very well because the 1-year-old kept me up half the night, but the brain is catching up a little bit. So I got some code for that we can look at a little bit later. Let's see, I think I saw some ideas in the chat. Gunn said, I once wrote a Lisp script to convert my clocks into an Excel timesheet for my boss. Yeah, that would actually be pretty useful. Let's see. Exporting clocked task data to another format, let's say. Kaiser says, oh my God, recursive loops, here we go again. Well, we're not going to see that in Emacs Lisp, I think. We'll be doing normal types of loops. Scheme is the language where we just go into the garden of recursion Eden, let's call it. Kay says, we love a recursive loop. Yes, we do. Let's see. QQQ says, org archive all done. It's not a command, but a function. Okay, cool. Let me write some of these down because we need to take a look at those. Possibilities. Org. Oh, whoa. I don't see that one. Not sure where that comes from. Is that a... Where is that? Is that maybe in like the... What's it called? Org contrib, maybe? And then there's an org map. There's org map entries. I thought there was an org map to-dos also, or something in that nature. Map tree, call function for every heading underneath the something something, org map region. Okay, it's the same thing. Ooh, apply command to all D blocks. Interesting. Okay, call function each headline selected by match in scope. We'll take a look at that one because that one's going to be pretty useful, I think. Kay says, oh, David Will went back evil. No, I did not. And I do not intend to go back to evil. I'm comfortable now with Emacs key bindings, and I'm happy that I'm there, and I have no intention of changing. Look at how much faster he types with like evil mode. Do I type faster? I don't think I type faster. But yes, I don't have to fight with pressing escape all the time. All right, so looping over all to-do items in a file. First of all, we need a file. Not today, Satan, says Osloy. Yeah, that's right. All right, so temp org, tasks.org. Oh, goodness. Let's come up with some tasks. Whoops. All right. I'll put the keycast mode on so you can see how badly I'm using the key bindings. Summer says, it was all me. Are you taking credit for me using normal Emacs bindings? You know, I don't think you can take full credit for that. Come on now. Deemer says, I like Nick Raleigh's suggestion on YouTube chat. How about scraping a website and turning certain HTML elements into org to-dos? That would be interesting. But not as straightforward. I mean, you could certainly make a web request with Emacs Lisp and then, excuse me, and then parse everything and read it. And then try to make those in a task, but you kind of need to know the structure of the page and which ones you're looking for. So it would be better to maybe skip that one for now. I'm sorry. I do have congestion. I do have COVID, so sometimes I'm going to have to deal with it. Judy says, summer camping at David's desk, observing and taking notes on used key bindings. Yes, there you go. You're just going to watch me and give me negative points whenever I do something wrong. Okay, so tasks. Let's see. Don't give Summer credit for switching to vanilla bindings. That's the first task. Let's see, what else? Tell ACDW that he needs to come to IRC more often. Okay. Let's see. Let's see, what else? Eat food. Oh, yes, that's true. I forgot to do that. So mod on Twitch. Mod Judy on Twitch. Yes, I need to do that. Okay, so that's 4 tasks. We can actually start with this and see how far we get. Let me pop open another little window here. And let's see. Org automation.el. I don't know what I'm writing. But wow, did I really just write .ek? Let's fix that. It's not saved. Hello. And where is this? Didn't update. Okay, fine. So we're going to rename this file to .el. Thank you. There we go, finally. All right. Alejandro says, org clocking work time, auto start, close clocking on task state change. Yes. I have that set up in my config already, I think, but I can put it in this config just in case. So let's do this. Where am I going? Workflow, maybe? Clock, block. Org clock in, org timer set hook. That's not the right one. Huh. So info. So what is it? Save the clock history. I don't care about that. Where's the automatic stuff? Rewrite Emacs and Guile? Yeah, we're not going to get that far. Yeah, or clock in. I know that you could do that, but on task state change, there's something for adding a, what is it? It's not here. Doesn't come in the info pages. Okay. That's not the right one though, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's for when you set a countdown timer, which is useful. There was some other thing, org timer. Oh yeah, I can't search my Emacs Lisp files. I did something to my Git repo and it screwed it up. All right, okay. Org clock in hook. Yeah, but it's not a hook for clocking in. It's a hook for changing task state. There is a hook for org hook state after to do state change hook. But the thing is, like, what you want is a timestamp. Anyway, let's do that later. Let's do that later. Right now, let's just get some basic stuff going. So we're gonna go back to what we were in before, the orgautomation.el. We're gonna go back to our task.org file, okay? Also, let's do this too. Yes, I know that I say tasks twice, but whatever. I also know what key bindings I'm using and I'm very ashamed, so don't tell me nothing. Okay, so move that down a little bit. Timer like org Pomodoro? No, like org timer set timer, which is really cool. I made a little YouTube short on that maybe 3 years ago. Gregory says, Control X, Control V is handy when you mistype a new file name. What is that? Find alternate file. Ooh, interesting. Haven't used that one before. Okay, so first of all, what was it? Org map entries. There's map entries, map key tree. Call function for every heading underneath the current one. That actually would be pretty useful for some things. But I think the org map entries is the first starting point. So org map entries. We're just gonna do this in a normal interactive way, let's say. In fact, we should probably just try it out like this. Org map entries. Does it need a parameter, I wonder? Yeah, it does. Wrong number of arguments. So let's take a look at that. So func. All right, so we needed a lambda to go in there. Let's see. What is it? With current buffer. We're just going to do it this way to try things out a little bit. So if you don't know about it, with current buffer is a macro, I think, which is able to set within the scope of this expression the current buffer for any Emacs Lisp functions that are executed within the scope. So in this case, we're saying inside of tasks.org, we want to execute these functions. So here, I'll just say lambda. I don't know what it's going to give me. Does it tell me? Let's see what the docs say. Call func at each headline match selected by match in scope. Func is a function or a Lisp form. The function will be called without arguments, with the cursor position at the beginning of the headline. Cool. Okay, so that's good. Basically what it does. All right, so one thing you know about how you manipulate buffers in Emacs a lot of the time whenever you're writing automation is that a lot of the functionality actually just uses moving the cursor around using things like next line, beginning of line, end of line, next character, next word, etc. So the same commands that you use for typing or moving around in a buffer are the same things you typically will use for automating things inside of a buffer, basically, if you're writing a function. In this case, org map entries is just finding every heading in the buffer and sequentially moving the cursor to each heading and then calling your function so that your function gets executed with the context of that heading's line being not selected, but just the cursor being at the beginning of that line. And then from that point, you can call various org API functions to extract information from the heading where the cursor is in the buffer. So that's sort of like the mental model you can use for how to deal with this stuff. All right, so let's just say buffer line. Current line. What does that even do? Okay, never mind. I'm just trying to find a way to read something. Actually, let's say this instead. Org title, org get title. Collect title from the provided, that's the file. Org heading, org get heading. Return the heading of the current entry. All right, there we go. So message, heading, and that would be org get heading. So org get heading is just using the current position of the cursor as the context for calling it, as far as I know. So let's execute it with Control-X, and we can see that we got a lot of output in the messages buffer, because I just used message for that. Now, it's writing out all the headings, even the main tasks heading up there, so it's not discriminating between to-dos or not to-dos. And then at the end, we get this vector, it looks like. No, it's a list of, they call them arrays or vectors in Emacs Lisp, I forget. But it's definitely an array or a vector for each item. And it's got all the properties baked into it, it seems. Actually, that's just propertized text, it seems. Org map entries. I wonder if it's returning the entries. So let's check out the docs again for org map entries. The return values of all calls to the function will be collected and returned as a list. Okay, so that makes sense. It's actually pretty useful because you can do some filtering on all the entries. And then return it back. So you can process information about stuff that's in the buffer. Match is a tags property to do match as it was used in the agenda tags view. Only headlines that are matched by this query will be considered during the iteration. When match is nil or T, all headlines will be visited by the iteration. Scope determines the scope of the command. So it could be tree, region, file, agenda. Ooh, all agenda files. That's nice. I didn't know that. So this is a pretty versatile function, it seems. If your function needs to retrieve tags, including inherited tags, you can call org scanner tags, which would be faster than calling org get tags. There's also org entry properties, which is another function to give you the properties of the entry, which gives you more information about the entry. So you don't have to actually like parse the whole heading or things under the heading yourself. You can just pull the information out that org has already parsed, which is pretty nice. I'm seeing a lot of German talk in the chat, so I'm guessing I don't need to respond to any of this. Today, I'm not going to get sniped into trying to pronounce German words. Thank you very much. Okay. So interestingly, I'm not returning anything here. So I don't know why. Let's just return nil for everything and see what it does. Okay, cool. So it does say nil, 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 nil. Message must be returning propertized text, which I didn't know would actually happen. Oh, return the message. Okay, cool. That does make sense. So the reason why we saw that list of things being returned when we ran this expression is because message is actually returning something. I would have assumed it's returning nothing, but I'm trying to think of a case where you would want to print something to the messages buffer and get the string back at the same time. I'm guessing there must be some reason. Okay. So get heading seems to work pretty well. Sorry, get org map entries plus get heading. In fact, I could do this and save us a little bit of time. All right, so I'm gonna execute this, and it still gives me the fontified text, but I guess that's because the the heading actually does have properties that have information in them and not just display information. Yeah. Okay. So, get property. Where is that property? Get text property. I think I was using something like that at some point. Anyway. If you want to strip that stuff out, I think you can say, what is it? Substring no properties. Yeah, substring no properties, and just pass the string directly. There you go. Yeah, so now you can see the headings without all the properties in there. You're just sort of like extracting the text without the properties. If you don't know what properties are in text in Emacs, inside of buffers, whenever you see all this nicely formatted text, each of these lines has text, and some ranges of the text in the line will have properties attached, which do things like set the face or even attach information. A lot of the packages that you use, like let's say Magit, if you go into a Magit buffer, if I were to go into my dot files, these lines typically are going to have information attached to them so that whenever you're running commands in the buffer for that package, it's extracting information from the line that you're on to understand what it's looking at, so it doesn't have to reparse all the text in the buffer to understand that, and then it does some actions on it. So if we were to actually do that, let me see if get text properties or gets text property. Is there a way to get all properties? Properties, text properties at. Okay. So if I go to this buffer and I say text properties at point, cool, it does give us something. If we go into, is there like a PP, like a pretty print? Ooh, it's writing that whole thing out. Let's go back to the messages buffer. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff in here, it seems. Magit hunks section. So under the file heading, then there's a bunch of hunk sections that are kind of shoved in there. So you got like a whole data structure stored as part of the text. And do I have access to all that? No, it seems to be completely... There we go. Yeah, I can't get all of it. Anyway, point being, text properties are used quite a lot in Emacs to sort of stuff information into lines of a buffer. And if you're trying to write an Emacs package or a major mode or something that has an interface like this, you're probably going to be using text properties to store information that can be recalled back. Rudy says, the fact that message returns a string in addition to putting in the messages buffer is useful for debugging. That's actually a good point. I hadn't thought about that, but a lot of times in an expression-based language like Lisp or Scheme, you'll have maybe like a debug function, or in Guile, it's like PK, I think. And what it does is it writes out the value you're passing through. Sorry, you call the PK function with the value you want to write. It will print it out, but then at the same time, it will return it back, so that you can kind of just insert that somewhere to print out information about a value. So I guess it's not exactly the same, but similar concept in a way. Judy says, I think we're talking about text properties, not org heading properties. They're similar-ish, I think. I think there's some overlap. Alejandro says, I use text properties to add faces to my badly written hack on Denote. Which one was that? Okay. Case says, I think faces are in general implemented as properties. Yes, that's right. Hey, Fade. Okay, so we saw that. We explained what properties are doing in this case. I'll run this again just to get our bearings. Judy says, as soon as I start talking common Lisp, fade appears. Interesting. Def B, hey Def B. FYI, I think Restream bot broke around 15 minutes ago. Oh, it seems to be working now, but I don't know if it's super delayed. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. So what did I say I wanted to do? Let's go to this file. Looping over all to-do items in a file. Okay, so we haven't actually filtered them yet. We need to filter them down to to-dos. So let me look at org map entries one more time. They say you can use the same filter syntax as the org agenda view. So if I go back to info, agenda or what, filter? Filters. Filtering in the agenda. Let's just go with filters first. What? What the hell just happened? I did capital G, which apparently opened it in the browser instead of going to the info file directly. Filters a list of functions. That is not what I intended. All right, so let's go G, filtering in the agenda. Let's see, filter by tag. So they tell you what the syntax is. I want to-do states. Category, regex, effort, state, to-do, no. Maybe you just say what the state is. So let's try that. I'll go back to this function and once again, where is it? Scope. No, match. Tags property to do match as it's used by the agenda tags view, only headlines that are matched. So match is which parameter? It is the second parameter. So I will jump back over here and then in the second parameter, I'm going to type in to do. So if I run this again, ooh, it says nil. That's interesting. So I must be getting the syntax wrong for filtering on states. Plus sign, I believe, is used for tags. How about we, yeah. Org agenda. Tags match. I don't understand, like they're not telling me about to-dos. Zergapil says, how to global search org mode tags? Well, I mean, if you go to org agenda, I think there's a way to do that somewhere. But I don't use that, so. Where is the to-do state? State, tag, tags property to-do match as it is used in the agenda tags view. It doesn't seem to be working. I'm not exactly sure what the problem is. How about this? Org map entries to do. Let's let the, oh, mapping API. Let's let the internet tell us. Okay, this is like the same stuff we're looking at, I think, right? Should I actually have a list for the match? Yeah, it's got some kind of query language, but it doesn't tell me. I thought it was just the to-do state name. Oh, wait. Yeah. Come on, winter mode. Let's go. There we go. So do I make this a list instead? I don't think that actually helps, does it? Valid match tag. Well, how about you tell me what you're looking for? In fact, let's just do this the right way, which is go look at the code. Huh? I didn't ask for fly make. I'm trying to go to definition. Xref definitions. All right, here we are. Set matcher. Org make tags matcher. All right, so what is tags matcher? Tags to do matcher from the selection string match. Oh boy, regular expressions. Yeah, there's no way I'm parsing that. So tags match to do match. Yeah, that's for tags, and this is for to-dos, and it seems org agenda filter on Fiddler. Filter on to do. Yes, that regex. I'm not about to try to parse that. That's a waste of time. Case says the XR package can reverse engineer regex strings to RX format. Interesting. See, we need example strings. I find it weird this is not working, because it should work. The most obvious thing in the world would be to say, I want you to give me everything that is a to-do, but it doesn't return anything. Okay. That's not right, for sure. Yes, to-do keywords. Oh, is that what it is? Tag match to do special property. Yikes. Thank you, Fernseed. To do equals to do. There it is. Thank you, Fernseed. So that was a little unexpected. Apparently, the documentation page for that is org matching tags and properties. Let's take a look at that one. If I go back to the info mode, matching tags and properties in here somewhere. There it is. Plus work boss, state. To do equals waiting. All right, cool. That was not as obvious as it needs to be, in my opinion. Oh boy. Summary says David will has a dad is confused. Look, I'm often confused, but that's because when things don't make sense, I first have to deal with my frustration of being confused over something that shouldn't be confusing, and then I can move on. All right. So now we are able to find all to-dos of a to-do state, and that's the only thing we're getting, which is cool. I feel like there was another way to do this, but apparently there's not. Change it to state of an item. Never mind. Then what says, is that orgql? No, that is just plain old. Sorry if the audio is clipping. That's just plain old org agenda filtering syntax. Okay, so we found all the to-do items. We kind of want to, not throw away the properties because we can get information from that. In fact, we don't really need it so much because there is a, I almost said procedure. I'm thinking of scheme. There's a function called org get property. Is it? Org heading property. What is it? There is a property function. There's set property, find property, find the first entry. Okay, org element property. Now that requires having an element in hand. Property value. In the current entry, set property to value. All right. Org entry put. What was it? Find property. Find first entry in buffer that sets property. Yeah, we don't want that. That's not what we're looking for. I wonder if it's, let me take a closer look at that function. Org entry put, set property to value for the entry at point. And what is it using? I'm looking for how properties are being set. There must be a way. Oh, is this a different kind of property? Anyway, let's see. Org. Wow, hello. That's not the kind of property I'm looking for. Okay, associated with an entry. That's also not what I'm looking for. Org set property. That's a different kind of property. Try ASUP says, do you still use EXWM? No, I've been using Sway for probably at least a year. I haven't used EXWM primarily in probably, I don't know, 2-3 years, I would say. For various reasons. One of them being that it would cause the stream to crash. Case says built-in completions is great. I don't even use Vertigo. Get on my level. Okay, buddy. Let's calm it down here. Nobody's looking for fights. Okay. In my notes, do I have something for that? Org category. Yeah, the text properties, I believe, are setting things. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when we need to get a listing of the properties on, and we found a way to do it, didn't we? Text properties at. So let's go into the file. All right. I'm sorry, folks. I'm, not super focused, but we're going to get somewhere now. We're going to say text properties at. We're going to take a look at the messages buffer and see what's in there. Okay, so for the current item, which is don't give Summer credit for switching to vanilla bindings, because we're not going to do that. We have face, org level 2, wrap prefix. We have some, okay, this total just face information. And I don't see any information wrapped up in here. Thought there was, to be honest. Oh, but it's org heading that has that. Org get heading. Is that right? Still a bunch of font stuff. Once again, I have to look at what I did. Maybe just the agenda file has a text property set. So if I go to okay. Org map. So what was that? We found a page. Was it here? Using the mapping API. Let's take a look at that real quick. Give any pointers on it? Oh, interesting. So apparently you can pass in something that makes it perform an action without having to give it a function. So in this case, we're saying map over all entries and set a state. Org ignores entries in comment trees and archive trees. Oh, okay, that's ignore stuff here. I see. Control Q is kind of needed though, sometimes, you know. Summer says, everything I invent by default is genius. SLS says camera quality looks really, really good. Thanks, I fixed a lot of stuff. Apparently I waited too long to start screwing around my camera settings, and then I realized that it could be much better than it was. That was all my fault. Hardware accelerated encoding also helps quite a lot. All right. Control QQ. You mean like if you set it as leader key and then set Control Q as in there? Yeah, because I don't really use Control Q that often, so. Benoit says, I realized I still had the wrap on the camera lens. It wasn't that dumb. It was almost that dumb, but not that dumb. Yeah, Control Z is like a liability, so maybe Control Z is a better one, but I don't know if it's too RSI inducing to hit Control Z. Okay, all right. Sorry, folks, my addled brain is just not firing on all cylinders today. So that was kind of an interesting thing we saw there. Let's try this real quick. I want to see if we can make all these be done using that syntax we just saw. Org to do, done. You can change all the to-dos done. Boom, look at that. So they have timestamps because of some setting that I have on them. I don't know exactly what that is, but hey, that was an automation. Not a great one, but we did that, right? All right. Okay, so you can use T also to pass through the values. Let's check that out. I'm actually kind of curious. Hey, wait, that's too many. Too many. No, T. Right there. Okay. Oh, no, it just returns a bunch of T's. I see. You just want the length. You can say T, and it just returns T for every item. Who needs that? What? No further undo information? Are you kidding me? Okay. Sure. Get title, get tags, get entry text, tags at, tags string. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Summer. I'm investigating various different things in the documentation and in the code. Yes, you're all just talking about whatever. Nobody's helping me. That's why you're here. You're not here to watch me do something. You're here to tell me what to do, right? SLS says, what do you have as a capture card to record? What even is your hardware setup for streaming in general? I have, what's it even called? Some kind of Magewell HDMI USB something. It's like a USB 3.0. Yeah, maybe it's this USB capture HDMI plus. No, mine doesn't do 4K 60, but it's like this. So that just plugs in via USB, and then you can capture it. It just shows up as a camera device. And if you set it up right, then it looks pretty good. But I did not have mine set up right for an extremely long time, apparently. Alejandro says, we are here to learn from your mistakes, so thank you. Yes, apparently people like watching me bang my head against the wall, and I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with it. You're giggling like you have cabin fever. You probably do have cabin fever. Have you considered that? You know, here's the problem, Summer. You travel the world too often, and if you're sitting at home for one day, you start going crazy because you're like, I haven't left the house. You know, maybe take a break. Don't go places so often. Just chill out. You know, relax. Have a nice life. You know, I know you have a nice life. I'm saying, you know, from a different perspective. Anyway, I'm wasting time. Kay says it's like she lives on a plane or something. Yeah, she lives in a chateau on a plane in a yacht that is also flying to space at the same time. Okay. I've lost about 20 viewers. All right. We're all just talking about internal community stuff here. Nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. Okay. What am I doing now? I'm trying to figure out how to get the damn properties off the org item. So that's all just the fontified stuff. Case lives on Chateau Street. See, you're already higher class than me. All right, let's see here. Benoit says I live on Skunk Street. That's interesting. I don't even know what org current line would be. 420 Cannabis Way? Jeez, Fade. Now I see why your name is Fade. Yeah, we're about to get age restricted. We got, you know, Fade throwing up all the pot slogans inside the chat. It's an IRC chat. YouTube can't see that, but I said it, so. I'm going to be getting a strike on my account. No, probably not. Age restricted coding session? Yeah. This should be age restricted. You got to be 40 years or older to watch this stream. So I know that half of you are okay, myself included. The devil's lettuce. Jerry says reverse agoraphobia. Yeah, it's like you're afraid to be inside. Kay says, quick mention, I'm not going to say that word if that's going to get me in trouble. That's just a place. Benoit says, I'm 28. You are 28, that's right. Case, chill it, dude. What's that? Anyway, I'm getting really distracted now. Now I'm trying to make jokes instead of actually write code. So we got the heading. And we're not getting the information off of it. Let me think. What can I do to unblock this whole process? So properties, org entry properties. Oh, is there a nil? Can I use nil? Well, hell. Okay, so let's do that instead. How about that? Org entry properties. And was there anything else on this? Oh, I don't have to say anything. Son of a... There it is, right there. Political? No, you're not getting political. You're just, trying to upset entire nations there, Case. Be careful. All right, see you, Case. Okay, so now we see that we got some information here. Org entry properties is the place to be. Now we see that it is an A list. We can see the category, the file where it comes from, priority, which says is B. Interesting, because I didn't actually say that, but maybe that's the default. The to-do state, the item description, and then the next one. Okay, then we see category, tasks, et cetera, et cetera. So that's good enough to take some action on stuff. So remember that Summer Emacs is a spy? Yes. Fade says, is this code on a forge? This code is not worthy to be on any forge. I don't know if you're talking about what I'm doing. All right, so entry properties, and we'll just say, is there a list get? Yeah, a list get. Is key the first parameter? Yes, to do. All right. So for each one, we're just gonna pull the to-do state. Hey, what? That's a string. I think I need to change the comparator. How are they doing that in the org.el? A list get string to care. No, they're definitely not using that. Org entry properties. Props O. Props O. What is that? Which? Oh, special or stand. Oh, okay. Interesting. You can filter property types. If it's nil or all, get all properties. Right, so it's all property. These are properties as upcase strings. And how am I going to get those out? We're not looking at that kind of property. We're looking at the sort of metadata for individual headings in the file that we're extracting. Yeah, we're not looking at property drawers. I'm org basic, dude. Come on, man. You trying to insult me here? You come in my house and insult me on Friday evening? Come on, buddy. It's not that kind of property, Summer. It's metadata. It's a different kind of property. Now, there's other functions for getting those kinds of properties. Whoops. Org properties. There's something else for that. Benoit says, it's the morning. Yeah, but I live in the future. We've been over this before. I live in the future. Gunn says the word property is ambiguous. Yes, I agree. It's ambiguous. Judy says that will always return to do. Actually, it won't, because I'm going to set this one to done because it didn't happen. So we can run that again. Ooh. So we got one item, but we can't use alist get because we're comparing a string. That's why I was wondering if there's some other function they have in org.el that they're using to extract these things, because alist get. Let me just figure out what the parameter is for that. They must have something else for this. Test function. So nil nil and then string equal. Okay, there you go, right there. But I don't like that. Can you set the yeah, that's what you can do, but since they don't have that in org.el anywhere, they're not using alist get, they're using something else. What would it be? Probably not member, because you can't look it up. Oh, maybe CL function? Not sure. What other ref? Oops. What other ref functions might they be using in here? Or get? Org entry get? No. plist get? That's not it either. Org entry get. How about that? Okay, that might be the one. See? Probably this org entry properties is returning things in a processable way, but that was pretty ugly. Org entry get. I'm gonna say nil there because I think it's the current point otherwise. And then property is to do. Is that it? There you go. Okay. Org entry get. So let me go back to our notes, and maybe I should just write down some things that we're learning here, because it's taking me how long? An hour to get things working because I'm an idiot. All right, here we go. Can't even see. The font is jacked up so high in this document. Whatever. There we go. Let's take this out now. Useful functions. Org map entries. Org entry get. It's the value of a property of a given entry. Loops over all headings in an org document, including filtering, etc. All right. So let's try to do some of the things that I mentioned doing before. Sorting all to-do items under a heading. So that is something that doesn't require all the mess that I did. But refiling could be something. So what the hell did I just do? Can't move. Yeah, sure. Whatever. I'm trying to move this down. There we go. Some of the key bindings. Benoit says, still haven't figured out what the stream is about. It's about trying to automate certain tasks with Orgmote. With Emacs Lisp. So now you see the list of tasks I'm trying to do. I'm finally at a point where I can start implementing some of these. Fernseed, once again, offers a solution after I have been banging my head for a while, which is org entry get. Thank you, Fernseed. Appreciate it. All right. So refiling all done tasks to another file. Well, let's do that. We can take the one done task that we have and move it to another file. In fact, we can synthesize the file name. Let me check a org refile. Move the entry or entries that point to another heading. The list of target headings is compiled with the information in org refile targets. So I might want to override that locally. Summer says, I don't know. I don't speak German. I haven't started drinking yet. So you're saying that you magically receive the ability to speak various languages after you've consumed alcohol. That's pretty interesting. I've never heard of that before. Is that some kind of like a, genetic condition? Does the genetic lineage spring forth and start speaking its own language whenever you imbibe alcohol from a particular region? All right. So let's try that. I'm going to try to refile the done task here automatically to another file. And what I'll do is just say, like, I'll move it to the same file name, but with like _archive under it. So we'll try to do something automatic for that. Let's see what we can do. This is sort of just test code. We don't really want to run that. So I want to keep it though. Is there a comment thing? How do you comment an expression in Emacs Lisp? Is that possible? I just want to comment out that whole expression. Ah, fuck it. Excuse me. Sorry. Defun. I'm typing scheme. Sorry, that just happens. It comes right out, just like the other thing that just came out. Defun my refile done tasks to archive. Let's say that. So then we're in a current file. We want to use org map entries lambda, and we can say let. In fact, we probably want to do the let on the outside. Oh, we also probably need to set lexical scoping. Is like lexical scoping is on by default now, right? Lexical binding? No, I thought it was on by default. This is Emacs 30. Interesting. I am speaking French. That's right. I'm not sure what binding Zorg is telling me to use right now. All right, so add local file local variable lexical binding. Is that not what I said? Prop line, lexical binding true. There we go. Now Control C. Whoops, wrong. Normal mode. There we go. Now we have lexical binding turned on. That's right. Let org refile targets. And I've forgotten what the structure of this variable is. There's a way to set it to a particular file. Each cell contains a specification of files to be considered. How to find candidate refile targets. That should be enough, right? It's at the location. Org agenda files. Okay, so I think that I just need to say, let's just say tasks test.org. That's probably not going to work very well, but that's okay. It's like a plist. Let's try that. We're just experimenting a little bit to see what works. Now, yes, you're definitely like I heard a cast today. You're going to be looking at the chat on the video recording and being like, what the hell are they talking about the whole time? Org refile. And what else do I need to say? Nothing really, right? What is the arg? Only visit the target location and not actually move anything. Go to the location where the last refiling operation is, put the subtree. Okay, I think it's fine. Yes, we are experimenting a little bit in the code. And I also want to use a filter for done. We want to get the done items. Yes. And I want to make this interactive so that I can run it as a command. So I'm setting the refile targets to only that file in theory. I don't know if it's going to take that or not, but we can try it. I'll go back to the task.org file and I will run my refile done task to archive. Bad refiling target description. Cool. At least that's a starting point. Max level 1. Probably I need the max level at least. Max level. Console tag. Any headline with level as a target. Oh, is it going to prompt me for a target? I don't really want a target. Lots of linting errors. Yeah, I know. What is that? I see. List. Okay, so you can give it. Okay, you don't have to do the rebinding. So apparently you can just pass it straight on to org refile. You can override the default configuration. Default buffer. What is that? And the RFLOC, which I'm guessing is the refile location. Default buffer. What is default buffer? Name and an identifier for the refile location, typically the headline text. Okay. Let me try that actually. We'll just get rid of this for now. So the first thing was arg. I'll say nil on that. And then name. Archived asks, let's say, I don't know. File, the refile location is in. No, this is RFLOC, so this needs to be a list. And the file is tasks archive. We're not going to hard code this task archive thing. We're going to actually generate that string based on the current file name in a moment. Used for generating refile location candidates, not needed when passing rfloc. Okay, position under in the specified file of the headline to refile under. Now, what does that mean? Oh, so you need to give it the position also. You have to look. What's that? That's cool. Okay. Archive all done. Why is that just now showing up? Where is that coming from? Org archive all done. Okay, it's an org archive.el. Okay, apparently I didn't have that open before. So this is kind of a, wow. This is kind of an unnecessary task because apparently this already is something that is supported by Orgmote. Well, I mean, it's the same concept in this case because we're trying. No, it's not. We're effectively trying to do archive at this point. So we're trying to move completed tasks to a different file. So you're not really confusing it. It's just that you're coming to the solution without the extra work involved. Okay, Fade, since it has pedagogical value, how do you pronounce that? We will continue with it for now. All right, so let's keep moving. We don't need to use that. So what they do in this function is they actually use a function from org to find a headline in a given buffer. Pedagogical. Yes, Summer, I can't tell you what the pronunciation if you just write the same word again. At least Fade gave me the key for that. Is it gogical or gogical? See? Yes, that's what I thought. There you go. There you go. I pronounced it educational value. Okay. Cool. It's good we're all on the same page then. Okay. Yes, we should all be learning IPA so that we can fix everyone's pronunciation of everything all the time. So as any good programmer does, I'm going to copy and paste from Stack Overflow because that's the nature of any programming job in the world these days. I mean, before AI comes along and makes that obsolete as well. No, don't think the stream's killed. You might have to refresh, but I guess you probably can't hear me right now. What is so wrong? Copying and pasting from Stack Overflow? I just probably threw some licensed code in this code, so. Yeah, that's weird. It must be YouTube, because the stream is looking okay on my end from the OBS standpoint. All right. Stack Overflow wrong? Yes. You know, what is more wrong? Answers on Stack Overflow or answers that come from ChatGPT? I guess that's kind of a toss-up, isn't it? All right. Zorg says there was a YouTube streamer who was using ChatGPT to solve Doom Emacs issues. Yeah, you know, that's something people can do. But I'm not doing that. I'm not using AI on streams. You know, the only thing that I actually use ChatGPT for is like to give me better ideas for names for things. Like titles for articles and videos and stuff. But that's about it. Like as far as code is concerned, I used it for a little bit just to sort of like see what it could do, but it gives you wrong answers more often than not. And you have to kind of like coach it to give you the right answer at some point. And by that point, you should have just written it yourself. Oslo is giving a very in-depth pronunciation. Summer says, I got to go and order Yvette's soup across the street soon. You're going to like a 5-star soup restaurant that's across the street from your house? 5-star soup restaurant. What's it called? Soup sense, like the essence of soup. All right. Let's get rid of that. We want to find the find file. You probably should use find file no select, right? I know it's using save excursion, but still. It's a bistro. Yeah. It's a bistro. Of course it's a bistro. I don't eat from a bistro. I eat from McDonald's. Not really. I'm going to eat from a sublagidico. Bit rot? Yeah. That just shows, you know, where your headspace is. Okay, so, I'm sorry, folks. This is an incredible stream. Let me just start right off by saying, I'm sure this is the best live coding session you've ever seen in your life. And you're welcome. Jeff says, hey Jeff, says, Elama works fine-ish, provided that you recognize the solution might actually be wrong and you know how to fix it. When it is inevitably wrong. Yeah, that's the problem with AI, is everybody thinks, okay, let's just get AI to write the code for us. But if you don't have somebody who knows how to understand the code that's being written, then you're just gonna have bad code all the time. It's almost like saying, we're not going to hire any senior engineers. We're just going to hire people straight out of college and let them write the whole product. In fact, that would probably be much better quality than letting LLMs write your code. Osloy, I would actually like to have a super salad, so that's a great idea, actually. I should just, you know, start a new restaurant called Super Salad. Super Stay Up says 5-star soup restaurant, the name of the establishment. That would be pretty funny, actually. Menacing Mecha says, at least with the Stack Overflow, the buggy snippets weren't stolen. Why is this not showing me the whole screen? The buggy code snippets weren't stolen. Yes, exactly. Judy says, I think the goal is to only hire seniors and automate away the juniors. Yeah, that's risky. That's super risky. Yeah, Summer learned everything except for the thing that I'm trying and failing to do in the stream. Okay. All right. So we have that. We need to do this for every file, I think, but I think we can save the... okay. I think the save excursion is going to be broken. So this may need to be a separate procedure. Or in other words, separate function, because I'm still living in scheme in my head. My refile heading to file heading. Why do they call it headline here when it's called heading in other places? That's kind of weird. Wait, hold on. Is that an aliased procedure? Because it says heading here. Are they two different things? What? Exact headline. That's weird. They're different functions. They seem to do different things. Whatever. Okay. See you, Summer. Thanks for playing along. All right. So we're going to use find exact headline and buffer. I'm going to call it heading. And then list heading. File nil position. There we go. Let's just call the stream copying and pasting Orgmote code from Stack Overflow. So now that we have this, we can run our own procedure function. My refile heading to file heading. That's going to be tasksarchive.org. And it's going to be archived tasks. Now, what if that heading doesn't exist? I wonder. That's going to be fun. kind of pointless. What else did I want to do? Because I think this one is less useful than others. Sorting to do items. I can show how that's done. Okay. So then let me go and run it here. Not that one. Task.org. Refile done task to archive. Whoa. Okay, so that did something. Hey, it did something. Okay. It created the file. It didn't put it under the heading, but I guess it didn't really care about that. So it did move it to taskarchive.org. Let me undo this. I'll undo it here too. Okay. Was there anything else we need to see on that? Oh, we need to make sure that we use the current file name. So buffer file name. Archive file name. We're going to pull buffer file name. We are going to have to wrap that in, what is it? File name, no, or base? Base, file name and base. Return a base name of file. Let's see what that does. Org automation. I want the path too, though. File. File name directory. Sans extension. Is that right? There it is. Okay, that's what I want. So I want to construct this by saying format. Wow. That'll be my own little way of doing it. And let's try that. There we go. Automation archive.org. Cool. Oslo says topic, as if there is any topic here. Okay, so I think that actually is going to set the archive file name correctly. I should delete that file though. So task archive, let me delete the file first and then go get rid of the buffer. And then we can go back to task.org, run refile done task to archive, and then we can go find that file task archive. So it did actually do it. If we were to rename task to something else, it would work. In fact, how about we just test that real quick? Let's copy this file to more tasks.org, go into more tasks.org, and then run the same command from anywhere, refile done task to archive. I can go look at more, interesting. Why did it not work? Try that one more time. We get an error? Oh, did it put it in tasks archive? Why did it do that? Was that in a wrong buffer? Twitch, oh, thank you Twitch chat for suggesting that the variable is not used. That explains a lot. Let's just do that right here. Archive file name. Who was it who suggested that? Let me check. Rifu, thank you. I did not use the variable. Okay. Make the function jump to the archive file after it refiles. Yeah, I could do that because we do have the position. However, I am doing save excursion to prevent it from jumping there. I would have to just take that part out, I think. Get rid of save excursion. Oh, no, actually. Org refile. Switch to buffer. I think org refile keeps it open. So switch to buffer or name. Now we're making an assumption that it will do it right. So what is it? File. Go to care position. Let's try that and see if it works. Okay, so we got two things now. Push the location to a register and pop it. That's probably the right way to do it, but I'm not going to do it the right way because I'm stubborn. So we got two of these tasks here now. That's cool. Let's get rid of those. Then back to moretasks.org, and I will undo moving that task. And now I'll go back, refile done task archive. And now I'm in more task archive, but it does not seem to have moved it correctly. So where did it go? Interesting. No further undo information. Oh, I saw an error there. It's probably when I try to give it the position value. You think? Because it did switch to buffer, but the position point. Set point. Yeah, I don't use registers at all. Oh, it's QQQ. Cool. Thank you, QQQ. All right. You know what? Let's give up on that because we got about 20 minutes left. We should probably do something else in the meantime. So let's move on. Soham says, just popped in and wondering if you plan to continue the org, what is it? To scribe exporter. Oh yeah. Where did that go? Too many projects. I have not worked on it again since then. Because I'm balancing between many different things, so that one kind of got put on the back burner. I haven't really played with Scribbler again since those streams. Keep bumping my backlight lights here. All right, let's forget that whole aspect. Yes, it would be nice if you could jump, but I think if you're archiving, you probably don't want to see the stuff where you're archiving, so let's forget about that part, in my opinion. So let's try one more time. And it seems to have been archived this time. More tasks. Archive, there it is. Okay, we got two of them in there, that's fine. Actually, we have three of them in there. That's pretty funny. Whatever, it worked. So let's move on. How did Essential end up in this? That's really funny. Oh, okay, it's a different file. Yes, kill anyway, I don't really care. Tasks.org, let's go back to the original. Cool. So now, what was the next one that I wanted to take a look at? Sorting all to-do items under a heading. Let me just check what code I have for that, because I do have something for that in my... Yeah, move done tasks to bottom. That's a pretty easy one to check. So the way that I did this, sort all tasks in the topmost heading by to-do state. So first of all, I use save excursion to save. So if you've never heard of save excursion before in Emacs Lisp, it is a function that saves the current buffer position, selected buffer, window state, etc., and then allows you to go do some work inside of this expression. And then as soon as this expression finishes, it pops back to the previous buffer, window state, etc. So usually you use this whenever your function needs to go open some other buffer, do some manipulation on it, and then you want to come back to the original buffer in the window once you're done. So save excursion gets used quite a lot. Jabba says, why is it called excursion? I think it's because an excursion is like whenever you leave to go somewhere. So you're saving before you go on an excursion. I'm guessing that's what it is. I just made that up right now. Save point and current buffer, execute body, restore those things. They have no explanation for why excursion was used. I may have used something a bit more literal, like save, window, state, something. Yes, Bong Witcher asks, which chat does the pop-up follow? It's following IRC. Just because I haven't gotten back to getting Twitch support working again. Save point. Save point could work, but it's not, maybe not specific enough. Who knows? All right. So what I'm doing is saving the excursion, and then this while loop is effectively just calling org up heading safe to navigate up to a top level heading. This is just because of the way that I was doing things in my own files. I wanted to navigate up to the point where I'm at a top level heading in the file, and then I call org sort entries. And org sort entries is an interesting little function. It lets you select a sorting type, and this O character is for the order of to-do keywords. So it lets you sort based on the ordering of to-do keywords, and that's actually defined by org to-do keywords. Now, my setting for this is a little bit more complex because I had some states I was using, which I don't really use anymore, but the default sequence is just to do or done. So it's using that ordering to decide how to sort a list of org to-do items. Gun says org sort does this already. Yeah, but it doesn't do it automatically. I think it gives you a pop-up. So if I go into task.org, I can say org sort. And, oh, it says nothing to sort. Now, I went to the heading here for task. I had to manually go there. Now it says sort children, alpha, numeric, priority, property, to-do order. So I'm going to press O, and then that's going to put that done down at the bottom. But that was all interactive. So the function that I wrote here automates some of the steps for this. I'm going to drop this into this org automation file, and then we'll take a look at it. I'll just change the DW to my. Now, it calls a sorting function, but it doesn't stop there. What it actually does is it sort of redisplays the file so that it collapses all the headings. For some files that run it automatically on save. Yeah, that is the thing that you could do, is have it be an after save hook, where, actually a before save hook, let's say, so that whenever you save the file, it will automatically sort headings. And you could use some of the org get entries or whatever it was we used to loop over every one of them and run this. So it is possible to do that. So if I were to go to this file and run it with my function, which is my org move done tasks to bottom, my org move done task to bottom, then it moves that task, but it also recollapses all the items so that they show up in a more clean way. Now, these other functions I'm using, org overview, org show entry, org show children, let's run that interactively. So, excuse me, org overview. It basically collapses all the headings in the file, I think. Org overview. Switch to overview mode, showing only top level headlines. So that's the first step. The next step is org show entry. So I'm at the main heading. I run org show entry. That expands that heading, but obviously you don't see anything that's going on in there. Now I'm going to tell it org show children, so that it shows all the children. Sorry for the coughing. So it's just a set of functions that you run in sequence to cause the org file to be re-expanded to whatever level of view you want. There might be better ways to do this, but this is the way that I found to automate that whole process. So this is something you can use if you're interested in this sort of thing. Sorry, a little sip of water here. Volard, I'm sorry, I'm missing part of your message here. Started recently trying to use Emacs. Thanks a lot for your videos. The Emacs community at first glance, not so fun and big as the Vim one. How much time did it take for you? Yeah, I didn't really see the rest of that. Maybe what you're asking is how much time did it take for you to make your configuration? I don't know. I've been working on this stuff for years now, so. And Judy's saying, if you're coming from Vim with evil and some pre-configuration, like Cry for Emacs or Doom Emacs, found it mostly just works. Yeah. To feel productive. Oh, yeah, okay. How long did it take me to feel productive? I don't know. I can't even remember the answer to that question because it was so long ago. Alejandro says, so are we manipulating, hiding, and showing the children here? Yeah, we're sorting. So let me just undo what I did in this file. We have this task that's done, right? And it's the top task in the file, but I'm going to run this command to move that to the bottom of the current heading. And when I do that, I wanted to sort of recollapse everything so that the to-do list looks clean. Just for, my own aesthetic sake, let's say. Jabo says that I can't remember feeling productive, that I can't. Yeah, I can't. Because apparently every time I try to do something, I just run into trouble the whole time. So what can I do? All right, let me see here. Okay. Alejandro said, I started to be productive on Emacs about 3 months when I was about 20 years old, no Vim experience. So I think the experience of Emacs is that you start to be productive and then you start to be really unproductive because you just sit there tweaking your Emacs configuration all day, right? Okay. So we got about 10 minutes left. Let me check what else we can do in the time. Maybe we can check out this excuse me. org agenda scraping just for a second because it's kind of an interesting thing to look at. Let's start by setting some times on these items. So org deadline, I forgot. Okay, Control C, Control D. We're gonna say this is due today at a different time. I need to, let's see, deadline, date, and time. What am I gonna say that the time is gonna be? 12 p.m. Yeah, there we go. And then eat food. How about that? So I'm gonna put this to 8 p.m. Oops. Well, that's what, 20? Let's go with a 24-hour time because I live in Europe. So that's two things. And if I were to set my set queue org agenda files to a list containing home, David Will, temp, what is it? Where are we? Temp org. This is tasks.org, so we just got one file in our agenda. And then I load up the org agenda and look at the agenda for today. Okay, now we see we have an agenda view that has two tasks. And actually we have a closed task here for not giving summer credit. So what I want to do is actually walk through this agenda view with code and try to extract information about the tasks that are on here, like the times that they're there, etc. You might wonder why you would want to do that. I don't think there's a way to get a listing of tasks that fall within today's date. I mean, sure, you could try to calculate all that programmatically, but why not just let the agenda view do it for you? And then you can walk through the agenda view using some functions that come with Emacs to get the information about all the items. So now that we have this, I can go back to the code that I copied over and I can do this function, get schedule entries. Let me pull that to our org automation file. I'll paste this in. I'll re-indent and change this to my, let's say. Now, I don't need the schedule category part. Let me check that out. So there's tasks. I could, with the given category. So, and here I'll just say category. category. There we go. All right, so let me fix the little issue here. Category. Are you happy now? Thank you. So what this does, it uses save window excursion. I don't know why. Hold on. Is it because org agenda changes the window layout? That's probably why. So save window excursion. It runs org agenda programmatically. So what we're saying is we want to run the agenda that shows the day view. That's that same A that we pressed before when we ran org agenda, and then we pressed A for agenda for the current week or day. So press A for that. This is going to do that programmatically, and it's going to select that buffer, but you're not going to see it because this is going to sort of hide that using save window excursion. We're using goToChar to move the cursor to the very beginning of the buffer by saying goToChar point min. The reason for that is you may already have that buffer open and your cursor may be somewhere else in the buffer. So we want to make sure that we have the cursor at the beginning, the point at the beginning of the buffer, so that we can start using the org agenda next item function to step through all of the agenda items. Because what it's going to do is progressively move to each line that represents an agenda item on the schedule. So we want to loop through each one of these, and then when we reach one of the lines, we want to extract some information from each one of those. So here we're using a while loop to call org agenda next item. Eventually it will return nil, which will make this while loop stop. And then inside of that, we're going to look for a text property at point. So apparently the agenda view does things a bit differently than normal org items in an org buffer, where the metadata for each individual item that you see on the agenda view actually is stored as text properties. And in this case, we're pulling the org category. So the category, if you don't know what that is, in the agenda, there's a word right over here, like tasks. That's considered the category, but it actually comes from the file name. But you can set a category in the file itself. If I were to go to task.org and go to the top of the file, say hash plus category fish. I don't know. It's just a name. I go back here to the buffer, press G to refresh. Now the category is fish. Okay, so kind of a dumb example, but I'm just trying to point out that by default, the category for a file is the name of the file unless you change it to something else. Now, why would we want to scope that to a given category? Maybe you don't want to. You can just take that win out if you don't want to do that. But I do, because I have kind of an idea for how I would use this. So once we find an entry that fits into that category, we push that entry onto the list of entries. So entry in this case, hold on. Yeah, I'm actually not storing an entry. I wonder. See, Aminas Mezer. I was probably trying to do something else with that at some point. Get text property point. So org agenda entry. Apparently I stopped writing that halfway through. All right. Org entry get the entry text. I don't want the text. There was something for that. Maybe we'll just have to print something out for that. All right, so what we'll do is text properties at point. I think that's right, isn't it? Yeah. I want to print that out, message, and we'll just print them out directly. Got a while loop there, save excursion. I think that's it, right? Entries. Is that right? That's probably right. Okay. So let me go into the, let's run this directly. My schedule, get schedule entries. My get schedule entries, we're gonna say tasks here and run that. Okay, wrong type argument string P, org series command, where is that? Org, if string equals get text property point. Okay, get properties at point. And what didn't it like? Whoa. Was it backtrace? Backtrace. Wrong one. Let's run that again. String P. Maybe it's because I need to do this. If I could type. Hey, all right. Now let's try that again. Ooh. That seems like a good little infinite loop. Yeah, something's not right about that. Kind of felt like it was writing that a bunch of times, wasn't it? Oliver Henry says, why text properties? That's because this information is stuffed into text properties inside of the lines of the buffer in agenda views. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to drop off the stream in a minute or so here, so we may have to come back to this another time. I'm actually, so once I get this little process working, I have some plans for what I want to do with this, and I'll probably make a video about that at some point. So if you're interested in what I was trying to do with this, you'll see it again at some point in the future, but it is a bit more advanced. And I'm also not sure how inadvisable it is to do things this way. So if people know other ways of extracting information from the agenda views, probably just let me know, because I would be happy to know about it. So what did we accomplish today? A lot of disorganized coding, a lot of talk about German in the chat for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, I know why, because Summer was here. And yeah, I don't know. But we had fun, right? Just trying some things out, seeing how it goes. Tim says, typical functional programmer, always going on about categories. See, that's not one thing that I'm into. You know, category theory, I understand why it's relevant, but I don't know, maybe I'm just more of a primitive functional programmer. I'm not so advanced. Arnaud says, next week, how to organize a bunch of rebels with Orgmote. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Disorganized fun, as Ronald Jenkins says, that's true. So, you know, in the past, Summer has come by and hacked the stream. This time she hacked it in a different way. Social engineering. Okay. So, still working on that next Orgmote video that I have been talking about for a few weeks. I actually did record probably half of it in the last couple days, but now I'm thinking about redoing part of it. So this reason why it hasn't come out up until now. The improved camera quality today actually is a result of me working on that, just as proof that I actually did something this week. So that should be out this coming week. I know I keep saying that, but it'll happen eventually, right? And yeah, if you have ideas for what you would like to see on next Friday's stream, please let me know either in the comments or in the forum, IRC, whatever you like. And I'd be happy to consider the ideas for that. Mike says it was very interesting. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. So that's it. I hope you all have a great weekend. Until next time, happy hacking. We'll see ya.